Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with My Hero Academia. Last time on My Hero Academia, we watched Two Heroes, the movie, which actually took place between Seasons 2 and Season 3. Why do I always say it like that? Seasons 2 and Season 3. I should just say Season 2 and Season 3, but I don't know. Or Seasons 2 and 3, but I sort of mixed the two up. Not the point. The point is, Deku went to Eye Island with All Might, and then the entire Class 1A showed up, inexplicably. And then there was a terrorist attack. Also, we met cute girl Melissa Shield. And then there was a whole fight. And then we had the fight where All Might and Deku teamed up against Wolfram. And that was pretty cool. Last time in the show, though, we had Unrivaled, where we met the big three of UA, and they talked about work studies, which was pretty cool. And yeah, and also all of Class 1A got their butts kicked by Mirio Togata. And yeah, that was pretty much that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of My Hero Academia, what you gotta do is head down in the description or to the pinned comment. Click on the link there. That will take you over to the reaction. You can watch it just like any other reaction, and you can come back here and watch the discussion. Also, it is the first episode of the season, which means full length will be available for free. So if you want to watch my full unedited reaction to this episode, what you gotta do is head down in the description or to the pinned comment, click on the other link there that specifically says full length. That will take you over to my Patreon page where you can watch my full unedited reaction. There's no show footage because I can't just give you the entire episode, so you're gonna have to sync up your copy of this episode to my footage. I've made it as easy as possible though, and you can do that. Watch it, hopefully have a good time, maybe consider signing up for full length, full time, but you don't have to. And then, again, when you're done with that, pop right back over here to this YouTube video for the discussion. So let's go ahead and get right into Season 4, Episode 1 of My Hero Academia. Here we go. Okay, clearly there's some sort of arc or something that's about to start that the intro and outro have given away that had jack all to do with this episode. Something's going on with Overhaul and this girl, whoever this girl is. We'll have to find that out later, I guess. Alrighty, that is Season 4, Episode 1. I will admit, before I started this episode, I was kind of thinking, I wonder if this is going to be like the start of Season 3, which that had the sort of recap episode, but it was also, sort of bookended or, framed around the pool party, And they kind of did that here, though I think there was a lot more, there was more new stuff than there was recap, but you could sort of view this as a bit of a filler episode. But that's okay. Honestly, I'm really okay with this. This was nice. So yeah. Don't think it's going to be too terribly long of a discussion, though, but that's okay. So, let's go ahead and hop into the notes. The first thing I wrote down is the girl. I wrote something down for the intro, because, and this also is now in the outro, who the hell is this girl? Who? Like, they show something very, like, her and Deku falling, and they're trying to, like, reach out to each other in the beginning. And then here, the entire outro is her. And then at the end, it's her, Deku, and Togata. Togata. God, it's... Sorry, every time I say Togata, I'm like, is that... Wait, I gotta be sure I'm saying that right. His name is Togata, and yeah, the girl, Himiko Toga. Okay, so you gotta be a little careful about that, but yeah, okay. So yeah, like, that is the first thing I wrote down is, who the hell is this girl? Like, this, she is a very young girl, she's obviously younger than, Midoriya, and, I don't know, she's just a girl with kind of, like, gray hair, or I don't know, maybe that's just how it was stylized it might have been how it was stylized, like, in the outro. She's got, like, a horn, like, I noticed that. I don't know. There's some girl. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll start that next episode? I don't know. What the hell does this girl have to do with Midoriya? I'm not sure. Well, I guess we'll find out. There's nothing else I can say other than who the hell is this girl, you know? So, okay. Now, it's your turn. So, someone was clever. Someone was clever and figured out that All Might's message, now it's your turn, is not exactly for the villains. Now, it's interesting when he's like, oh, well, when the message, if it was for villains, wouldn't have been like, oh, you bastards, I'm coming for you next. Like, you know, which, again, it's like, well, yeah, that sounds like something Jotaro would say. Like, All Might, I don't think would ever say it like that. It's like, oh, you bastards, I'm coming for you next. Like, no, I don't think he would say it like that. So, yeah, it's like, so it makes sense that someone did catch on to it. That is like, no, I think he's talking about a successor. Sure enough. Now, okay, so we got something like, okay, it could be, you know, someone in Class 1A, or no, it could be someone at UA, and so this guy originally thought of the big three, which makes sense. So I like that. And apparently, okay, what he said something about, what was it, Sir Night Eye or something? Something like that. It's like All Might's former sidekick.
Boss, now I'm after you.
If that were the case, though, wouldn't he have said it differently? You bastards are next on my list? Or something more along those lines?
What are you suggesting here?
4 months ago, All Might took a position as a teacher at UA High, knowing he was reaching the end of his time as a hero. Then he ends his last battle with the message, now it's your turn.
So you think...
That's right. He's been assessing the next generation of UA students, hoping he can find a successor among them. And, considering how he phrased his message, I believe he's already selected one.
That's why you're here. You have an idea of who it might be.
At first, I thought it was one of UA's big three. Third year, Mirio Togata. He pays regular visits to the agency run by Sir Night Eye, All Might's former sidekick.
Okay. So, he initially thought it was Togata specifically, not even the other two of the big three. He thought it was Togata, and part of that is because he says that Togata constantly goes to the agency run by Sir Night Eye, All Might's former sidekick. Which that makes sense, so I would assume this is when All Might returned to Japan, Sir Night Eye was his sidekick, in the way that David Shield was his sidekick in America. So, that's very interesting. So, last episode, when Midoriya called Gran Torino, he wasn't referring to David Shield for the work study. He was referring to Sir Night Eye. But they kind of mess with you because you know the movie's coming up, and you know, because at that point you had heard of David Shield from the special episode, so it kind of misdirects you. It's like, oh, All Might's former sidekick. You start thinking David Shield, but Gran Torino actually means Sir Night Eye, who Togata seems to have an affiliation with. Which, okay, let's say perhaps Midoriya is going to go to, if they, approve the work studies, which I'm pretty sure they will. It's a show. I think they would do that. They wouldn't set that up and then not do it. That'd be hilarious, but I don't think they're going to do that. So I think they are going to go through with the work studies. So I would imagine then that, yeah, Midoriya is going to go with Sir Night Eye, All Might's former sidekick, as Gran Torino said, and that would put him... Perhaps that'll put him with Togata, which we also see in the outro when the girl looks forward and sees Deku and Togata. So, the main question is, who the hell is this girl? What does she have to do with any of this? That's my next question. I don't know, maybe they save her. Who knows? Maybe they save her? I don't know. There's also definitely something with Overhaul. I'm inferring a lot, by the way. I'm having to sort of speculate on this. There's something to do with Overhaul because he is in, like, yeah, he's in the intro, but when he's in the intro, it seems to be like it's right before they show the clip of Deku and the girl falling, and during the outro, which is specifically focused on the girl, Overhaul does appear there. So there's I'm starting to put pieces together. The problem is, one of the pieces, I don't know what the hell it is. Who is this girl? Just who are these people? That's what we need to find out. But that's for a later episode. So, Sir Night Eye. Perhaps this could be... It's very interesting because he doesn't look like a hero. But then again, I guess he was a sidekick, but I don't know, like, just from, like, you know, his sort of demeanor and, like, what we saw, I think it was last episode, like, this guy looks, like, super serious, and he was All Might's former sidekick, the cheery goofball's sidekick. I don't know, so that'll be very interesting to see. Then we got the Scoop, which, again, was sort of the Scoop was, you know, going over all of their quirks and stuff, which was really, really cool. But I did like the interactions with him and Class 1A and stuff, and just all the pictures he took of them, and, you know, trying to get a picture of Bakugo, and then he blows up at him. That was really funny. So I did really like that. So yeah. And then he did figure out that it was Deku. So he narrowed it. I liked the way he narrowed it down, you know? Oh, excuse me. Jeez. So the way he narrowed it down was to the six UA, or the 6 Class A members that got into the sports fest, or the finals of the sports festival. So then he narrowed it down. It's like, okay, Bakugo, but he said he was going to surpass All Might, so that doesn't really make sense. Todoroki, but he's Endeavor's son, and he was... Now, it's interesting, he says, I don't see that man letting his son pass him. But... And so that's interesting because, yes, Todoroki is not All Might's successor, but Endeavor does want Todoroki to pass him, because he wants Todoroki to surpass All Might, at least... Last we heard, that was the plan. Now, a lot of things have happened since then, but still. I love how, even now, at the beginning of Season 4, we are still bringing up the sports festival. Like, that's how big of an event that was, you know? Like, even, you know, last time, when we watched the movie where it's like, oh, Bakugo was invited to Island because he won the sports festival. It's like, this sports festival has kind of been, like, the big moment that now everything is based on from now on, you know? So I really like that. But yeah, so he narrows it down and down and down until eventually he gets to Deku, and he does realize, like, okay, their quirks are very similar, you know, and it makes sense. Like, okay, so he manifested a quirk right when All Might saved him, and then the two of them went to UA. Like, you know, he puts all the dots together, basically. Now, he doesn't think, he never even entertains the idea that All Might passed on his quirk to Midoriya, but he does connect the dots as to Midoriya being All Might's successor, which is pretty interesting. And we also get a bit of backstory on him with the bombing where All Might saved his father, which was interesting. And, you know, it's interesting because it's like, you know, oh, he's running to, you know, get his father who he thought had died, and it's like, and instinctively I turned my camera on. It's like, well, that's a weird thing to do. But then when he shows off his quirk, it's like, oh, he probably, you know, was running to get it to his father, and that lens just sort of manifested and took the picture, you know? So that's really interesting. Very, very creepy. Which is also interesting because he had a friggin' camera, you know? He had a camera that whole time, but I guess, you know, he uses that and doesn't really tell people about his other quirk. Or about his quirk, you know? Which I guess is how he got a bunch of pictures, you know? How he can get a lot more pictures, maybe without people knowing, you know? So that was very interesting. I like his backstory, definitely. And I like that he realized, like, look, I just came here because I wanted to see if there was hope. Because, you know, I want to write articles saying that there is still hope in the world. Even if I don't do, you know, like you said, I don't do an expose on Midoriya, I still just want to write and help people understand that there is still hope. So I like that. at first you think, oh, okay, here's just a sleazy reporter or whatever. And it's like, no, it's not exactly that he's, just some sleazy reporter, but he is here to, get hope. I like that. I also I like the moment that All Might had where he went to the store. He went to the store to get some food, and then the guy was, fanboying over All Might, and then, gave him so much free food. Like, that was pretty funny. So, which, that honestly reminded me of anytime Saitama goes to the supermarket in One Punch Man. If you haven't seen my One Punch Man reactions, go check those out. There's a little self-promotion, shameless plug right there. But yeah. Although, the thing is, Saitama doesn't get recognized, which is his entire problem, All Might, now even in his weak form, gets recognized, So, that was pretty funny. But yeah, he came and got hope, which was pretty cool. So I like that. I do really like that. And I like, he says, oh, I know what I'm gonna call the book I'm going to write about you, when the symbol of peace was young, and he has that selfie with him and Midoriya. So that was pretty cool. I like that. I really do like that. And it gives me hope, because the thing is, we haven't even done a year in UA yet. Like, this show's going to go on forever, man. Like, season 4, we just barely started the second semester at UA. Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so long, but I do want to see that. Someday we will see that. We will finally see Midoriya as the number 1 hero. And I'm ready for that. But he's still got a long way to go. But yeah, I really love this episode. Really, really great start to the season. And it's definitely, just from the intro and outro, which I know I always look at that, because I watch the intro and outro. And I'm always, find something, I'm like, ooh, that was interesting. And I sort of, speculate on what's in the intro and outro. Which, sometimes that's great. Like in Attack on Titan, that's how I figured out a theory about a certain female Titan. Or, I can't think of, sometimes it doesn't work it actually doesn't help, because, there's a time, on JoJo, where, a character, it's like, oh, that character's in the intro. They're not in that many episodes, though, Or, oh, wait, here's this character that's in the intro, but they haven't shown up in the show yet. It's like, oh, well, I guess we'll get them at some point, which is honestly what's happening here. Who is this girl? She seems to be important. The shot of, her and Midoriya falling, and Midoriya trying to get her, trying to get to her, and then just this outro, which just seems to be her life before she runs into Deku and Togata. So I'll be very curious as to what the hell's going on with this girl, So yeah, but we will find out next time? ? We don't know. We don't know when we're going to find out, but eventually I'm sure we will find out. So yeah, that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of My Hero Academia reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.